college football apostles. It's your boy George Wrighster, former NFL player, college football player, and college football analyst over at CW. My main man, Ralph Amsden, who is the college football savant, the college football rain man, and the man that knows all the obscure stats. He should be your phone a friend if you need if you were on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We got a lot going this weekend. So some teams had their bye weeks, but there is absolute chaos in college football. The SEC bias is at 100% max right now. Penn State fired James Franklin, and the ripple effects are being felt all across college football. Shoe companies are involved. There, this is absolute madness. USC, Michigan, USC, Notre Dame. How good are these teams? And so much more here on the program. So make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show. We always start with our biggest takeaway from last week. Ralph, what was your biggest takeaway from week 7 in college football as we head into week 8?
I think the Big 12's got a contender. I think Texas Tech can hang. I don't know about winning a championship, but 6 games have gone by, and through 6 games, David Bailey, who they added from Stanford as sort of like a rush end linebacker, Romello Height, I think between the two of them is the most successful edge rushing pairing in all of college football. They have 2 good quarterbacks. Cameron Dickey's a fantastic running back. The offensive line is blocking well. They are number 2 in the country, George, in first quarter scoring. And it's pretty easy to get things working.
I've been saying this, that why on earth are we ignoring Texas Tech? It's because they're in the Big 12. If they were in the SEC, they'd be the number 1 team in the nation right now. Oh, they would happily, but they want to keep jumping them. They don't believe this Arizona State game this weekend is going to go a long way into. But at the same time, it won't, because they'll still be like, oh, it was just Arizona State. They're not even ranked right now, considering that they were ranked last week and they just played without their quarterback. But who's counting? Who's counting? I mean, Oklahoma was playing without their quarterback. Their quarterback just came back and was buns because he probably shouldn't have been playing. But hey, let's give Oklahoma the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know if these Red Raiders have a weak spot, but they have if you were to put together like an all Big 12 team to run up against, they probably have 4 guys on defense that in a conference of like 16 teams, that's crazy. That Malcolm Rodriguez, Romello Height, David Bailey, like that these guys would all be on it. And then their backup quarterback is one of the scariest prospects I've seen in a really long time. Physically developed, rocket arm, can run, has poise. And he grew up in the shadow of University of Texas, and he's playing for Tech. It's pretty funny. It's kind of like Baker Mayfield.
You know what the craziest part about the whole Texas Tech situation is? They just had a 2027 5-star reclassified to 2026, and people were mad, Ralph. People are mad. Oh, see, this is just proof that that college football is broken. College football is broken because the Texas Tech kids, he was going to take a trip to Georgia and he just canceled it. He's reclassifying and he shut down his recruitment. He's more worried about money than development. And it's like, what? What? Yes, Texas Tech is buying an amazing roster. Joey McGuire is a very good head coach. How many players has Texas Tech put in the NFL? Well, one, a lot, but also, no, not as many as Georgia. But it might become like Georgia if Cody Campbell keeps spending that money wisely. And it's like, dude,
that NFL argument is so hard when Patty Mahomes is out here. It's so difficult to make.
They are. I mean, Crabtree had a good career. There's so many dudes that are just name brand as well. But these are not the old days, people. Yes, I am not mad at Texas Tech buying up the best recruits because you know what? For so long, the haves have had so much, and now they are getting run out of the building. And I told everybody this was like Bane and Batman. This was like Bane. He told them, Ralph, right?
No, no, you did not. I love you attributed probably one of my all-time favorite movie quotes to the wrong character, and just alarm bells going off in my head earlier this week on Unafraid show. Selena Kyle, Catwoman, told Bruce Wayne that you better batten down the hatches because a storm's coming, and all of you are going to wonder how you lived so long, so large, and left so little for the rest of us. Like it's time for the rich people to panic, and we're in that state of panic right now. This is kind of how basketball works. You have people reclassify all the time. You've had quarterbacks
Yep.
reclassify. It's not, and also like they still have to perform. It's a risk to pay freshmen. It really is.
Yep.
I'm an Arizona State graduate. They don't do it. They won't pay a freshman. They'll wait until somebody wants to.
Oh, I bet
I
you if
always
they
say
get
Arizona State's the best.
Decorian Moore committed, they will pay him. I promise you. If they get a
Oh yeah, if you
Decorian
can,
Moore
yeah.
committed, they will. I promise you that. It's big because they have not run into one of those guys that was going to commit that they felt like was gonna for sure be a starter on day one. Because I promise you, when he does, when Kenny Dillingham does, they will pay. I promise
you. Hey, yeah, no, that makes sense. But it is risky. It's very risky to pay freshmen.
Yes.
And Texas Tech has the resources to take that risk right now. And also, we're in the sort of in between of when you can get somebody, in on a contract, getting money that is maybe outside of the house. Because when does that go into effect? Because if he can reclassify and be a mid-year enrollee, maybe that first 6 months he's outside that and he's able to get a bigger upfront
second
payment.
that you step on campus, that's when it has to start. And they're trying to have where high school kids have to then report their deals if they're being paid from schools. The house settlement stuff is still a mess because only one conference has signed up for the CSC, the College Sports Commission, even though they all fought to be in there and get it signed and get the house settlement. It's still not resolved, people. I just want everybody to fully understand that no matter what has happened, it's still not resolved. The College Sports Commission has no power in terms of enforcement yet. Nothing is being done, but they're just kicking the can down the street. So all the people that fought for this are now like, yeah, but we're not going to sign it. So then you can then punish us. No, this is madness. But my biggest takeaway was from this last week is that what we just talked about. Nobody's safe right now. Oregon's not safe against Indiana. Alabama's not safe versus Tennessee. Nobody is safe. When you line up in college football right now, you are not safe. We are constantly seeing these lines fall. Like there are way less two touchdown and more lines than you have ever seen. Like we should see way more in conference 30-point lines. Nope. And now them lines ain't even safe. Like
you ever seen a top 12 team? You ever seen a top 12 team be a road dog against an unranked team?
Exactly. Top 12. And that's exactly what's going on with Georgia Tech and Duke this
yeah, exactly. Yep.
So I love it. But let's get into the topics, Ralph. Where we starting at today?
So our storyline segment, I want to get right into the Deion Sanders thing that happened this last week. I'm overjoyed that you were not aware of it. But Deion Sanders held a portal hopper scrimmage during the bye week. This is their bye week. They just finished beating Iowa State, and Deion got his team together and he said, "I'm not crazy enough to think that all of you are going to be in this room next year. Some of you are going to jump in the portal. This is an opportunity for you to get some portal film." So the first teamers watched from the sidelines, Well, Colorado held an intra-squad scrimmage on Wednesday at the Ford practice facility, and Deion said it's going to be game day. A lot of you want to be in the game on Saturday, so you're going to get in this game right here, play all out football, um, and we're going to film it and we're going to cut it up. And if you do stay at Colorado, this is going to give you a measuring stick of where you're at and what you need to improve. And if you don't, this is going to be the film that you cut up. We will hype it up, we'll give it to you, and we'll make sure you look good. And you can send this tape to other teams. What do you think about this,
I
George?
Deion Sanders. Okay, bring it in, everybody. I could not love this anymore. I could not love it anymore because Deion Sanders, who I think has abused the portal a little bit, right? He understands that, and this is the right thing for his players, because one of the hardest things that kids suffer with, I'm talking about the kids that get stuck in the transfer portal, whether they get pushed out of a school or they voluntarily choose to leave, is when they have not played. It is hard for them to get to convince other places that they can play football because they haven't played, and all they have is cut ups from practice. Oh, they're on scout team and all this stuff, and it ain't the same. Like, it doesn't feel the same. But when you have, if you're a quarterback hopping in the portal and you actually have live game reps, essentially, where somebody's trying to sack you, hit you, all of those things, or you're a wide receiver and you might get blown up and you catch balls and all that. Dude, this is the perfect opportunity for kids to potentially get on the field at Colorado, or find a new place if they choose to leave Colorado, or, like Deion said, use it as a measuring stick. This is honestly great for the kids, but you have most coaches who do not have the who don't have the foresight and live from a place of scarcity that they wouldn't dare do this. You have to be confident and be able to stand in who you are to do this. Because if not, you're like, oh my God, my kids will hop in the portal. Create a culture where they don't want to leave. A culture where they know they're going to get developed. A culture where they know that they're going to be able to get NIL money as well. And you will retain the majority of your roster. Yes, some people will leave because it might be best for them to leave for either personal reasons, football reasons, financial reasons, whatever it is. And if you are a coach, that is part of your task, is to be able to help the kids in your program to either get to a new program or to stay put in your program. I love this from Deion Sanders. This is the Lord's work.
I get the feeling that he's not rooting on anybody's demise, even if they don't show up for him in the way that they would hope. I don't think he's a grudge holder. I think he sees Cormani McClain out here getting interceptions at Florida. I think he, even though that, we figure that there's probably some bad blood there, I think he's happy about it. I think he wants to see these young men succeed.
Yep.
And I like that. It feels like the most modern era story, though. I can't recall anything like this. It reminds me a little bit of the college football playoff last year when Bo Prabula had to leave, Devin Brown had to leave,
Yep.
but Kenny Dillingham had people who already picked. Like, he had a tight end, Markiston Douglas, who already announced that he was transferring back to Florida State, play in the college football playoff with Arizona State. It is just the most modern thing. And I know that there are fans of other sports who look at this and they don't necessarily think it's a big deal. Like, if you're a soccer fan, like, you could get players on loan.
Yep.
There's things that aren't super, but if you're a college football fan, it's just a new and different thing every single day. And say what you want, love it or hate it, you do have to stop and really chew on this story. It is very, very
I
different.
love it.
And then you got to wonder, should we be doing this?
Yes, you should be doing this. Yes, you should be. And there are so many people that live from a scarcity mindset, crabs in a bucket. Oh my God, if somebody, like, I can't help anybody else out because that might hurt me. No, that's not how this works. I love it. I love it. Good on Deion. This is the Lord's work. This is exactly what college football coaches should be doing.
Now, okay, so to move on to our next story, and our next couple of stories, actually, sometimes I feel bad for you, George, because you are we're paired up in this together, have been for many years, and we're different. We
Okay.
we look alike, and we're both great athletes. But there are some things in there that, such as like, I am financially ignorant, not illiterate, ignorant. Like I kind of exist outside of a space of where I'm concerned about the business of college football, and I get caught off guard by a lot of things because that's not really my area of interest or expertise. However, these next two topics, they seem important, and I do need you to explain to me why they matter, why they are important,
Okay.
and one of which you put out a tweet, and you're getting some backlash on it right now, but you alluded to the fact that it is very possible Adidas is involved in guiding the hand of Penn State into looking for their next coach. And so my question for you, George, and what I think a lot of other people would question you on, maybe some with malice, maybe some with curiosity, why? Why would Adidas be involved in something like this? They're shoe people, they're apparel people.
Okay. First thing is, Ralph, you've known me for a long time.
Yeah.
How many times, like, what do you think my batting average is when I tell you, because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't go on air. When I tell you, like, yo, like, this is what's happening behind the scenes and blah blah blah. Like, what is my batting average if I'm like, yo, here is what I heard, and this is how it's supposed to play out, and here's what's really going on, and not I think that this is what's happening. This is what I'm told is what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, on the stuff that you talk to me about versus the stuff that you actually put out publicly is probably like a 5-to-1 ratio. And so, I would say that when you're putting it out publicly, you feel really good. When you're
Yes.
just talking to me about it, um, so here's an example. You called me and said, "This is what's going on with Deion Sanders, XYZ health issues. Here's what he's going to announce and when." You didn't say anything publicly about it. You didn't
Nope.
like you didn't report it. You didn't say like, "Hey, I know what's going on. I know why he wasn't at spring," but you told me. And then I went to my kids and I was like, "Hey, watch what this press conference is going to be about. This is going to be really, really interesting. We're going to watch kind of a man talk about his actual like medical procedures, mortality. This is very different. This is going to be a very different thing that you're about to witness." And so, like, I not only did I trust you on it, I trust enough to like sit with my kids and watch
Yeah.
this press conference. Like, I'm somebody like, maybe to a lot of people on Twitter, you're like blue check mark former football player. Um, but the conversations that you and I have, there is not hyperbole, not guessing. That's just not how it is in our
Yeah.
conversation. And I'm also like, I'm pretty aggressively honest. And when people do bloviate or they are vapid, I call that type of stuff out. That's not the type of relationship we have. When you tell me something's about to happen, it's on the way. And when you tweet about something, it means that you've gone far beyond just feeling like you're comfortable to talk to me
Correct.
about it. So I not only is it a good track record, like I would get my news from you. I
Yeah.
I would, and that's not me blowing smoke for the sake of this. I think I'm chronically honest to my
Yeah.
own detriment. I would trust you on anything in this regard.
Okay. So, with that said, the tweet that I put out was, I said, uh, oh, let me find it. I said, per sources, Adidas is involved with the next Penn State hire. They are trying to protect their massive investment. They did not get Franklin fired, but are definitely pushing to get one particular coach. Question is, will he say yes? And what if they play into January? That was the tweet. And mind you, this kind of followed up on the heels of, let me find the guy's name. It is Mike Asti, who is a Like he covers college football for. He's a managing editor at West Virginia Sports Now, Pittsburgh Sports Now, national writer at Yardbarker, contributor to Sirius XM, and then a bunch of other places. Right. So he tweeted out the other day essentially that Adidas got James Franklin fired, or that they had a hand in it because they wanted to, like, they're concerned about this brand deal. And if you don't know, Penn State is switching from Nike. They've been with Nike for 33 years. They were actually I believe, the first school that Phil Knight and company signed to a apparel deal, even before Oregon. That they were the first one. And now here's what I do know: that Joe Paterno and Phil Knight were super close, super close. There was a building named at Nike after Joe Paterno, all of these things. So, and that Phil Knight actually got involved late with the negotiations. There's stuff going on, like the board of trustees is not happy with Pat Kraft, their Penn State's athletic director, because they're like, "Yo, you didn't tell us everything with this deal. You gave us notes, and this didn't really match up exactly, right?" And that the Nike deal was better long term, but that the Adidas deal, which is a 10-year, around $300 million, but they're also going to here's the important points. Adidas is contributing uh to their NIL, and then athlete branding and all of this stuff. And so they're going to essentially saying that they're going to contribute to their NIL stuff and sign guys to Adidas deals and then market some of their players. And what I've heard about this situation is exactly what I tweeted. That Adidas is pushing one particular coach, and there was pushback. And Langdon Treadwell, did I say his name right?
You want
I don't want
to make sure
to.
you don't disrespect your detractor.
Yeah,
Landon
dude. I don't. Huh?
Tangwall. Landon Tangwall.
Yes. So this is, and I wanted to say it right because I don't what. There's no disrespect in there. He was
He's a
one of,
former
like,
player like you.
yes,
Yeah, like you.
he's locked in with Penn State, and he was like, George, do you think that Pat Kraft is gonna let a shoe company get involved in this? And yes, yes, actually, I do. Adidas is essentially, if you think about this, Adidas is essentially a Penn State booster coming up. Now, mind you, this doesn't start till next year in 2026. But we're getting ready to think that Adidas, who this is the biggest deal that they've ever done with a school. They have overpaid for this.
Why? Can I interrupt you real quick? Because Penn State fans might hear that and take it as disrespect. Why is Adidas overpaying for this particular contract?
Because number one, Penn State is one of the biggest alumni bases in college football. They sell tons of merch. Like, it is one of the biggest brands. And so Adidas needs them to be good. Adidas can't have them hire and it not work out well. So this is no different than Oregon's biggest booster, Phil Knight. Do you think that anybody gets hired in a significant position at Oregon that impacts the bottom line, Ralph? Whether it's basketball, football, even softball, that Phil Knight's not like, okay, I'm okay with that.
I've seen his parking space at Autzen.
Do you believe that anything's happening at Texas Tech without significant without Cody Campbell's stamp of approval?
Not right now.
How about, at Florida, or or Auburn, or any of these places?
Or Les Wexner at Ohio State, or
Yes,
the giant booster that helped fund the Bryce Underwood flip at Michigan. Like, some people got influence.
correct. And y'all don't believe that a shoe company who's now doing kind of an unprecedented deal is not going to say, listen, we need to like crap Pat Crap, yes, you get to have your say so, but we got to stamp off on this because you're
Yeah,
going
and
to want
sometimes
our
that
marketing
phrasing,
help and all of this stuff. So we got to be okay with this hire.
is like, "Hey, let us know how we can support you in this." Followed
Yes.
by a long silent stare.
Yeah.
Read between
Exactly.
the lines.
Exactly. Hey. Just let us know as as you move through the process, so we can be of assistance. It stares you directly in the face, and you're like,
It,
because you can apply pressure without explicitly saying, "Hey, don't do anything without hitting us up." I'm letting you know that.
and there's nothing weak or insulting about having that level of powerful friend. They are in your corner.
Yes, yes. Like for instance, my son. He's a grown, independent man. He's getting his own money. He's in college. All of them things. Do you think that he's going to make a significant financial decision or something without that could, if it blows up, I might end up having to help him out? Do you think that I'm not getting a phone call? Like, hey, Dad, I'm thinking about doing this. All right, son, go on. Or, nah, don't do this because if you do this, you're on your own.
You're on your own. Yeah, you don't want to be. You don't want you if you get into a $300 million deal. Like God, think about just as a regular person, you got somebody who invests $30,000 in you. Like they just in something that you're
Yeah,
working on. Like they're gonna have a say.
yes, they're
This
gonna
is
have a say.
$300 million at what was, if I'm not mistaken, Phil Knight's like original contract
Yes,
with any institution. This is this is,
yes.
man. Don't
So
tell me
now,
if I'm stepping out of bounds. This is a proxy war a little bit too.
yes. It definitely is. This is Adidas and Nike are at war right now. This is a war between the two of them, and that was a shot across Nike's bow. And yeah, that is definitely a shot. So yes,
That you said landed. This is a shot that landed.
yes, this one was this one was oh God, what's that show I watch on oh, there's a show I watch on Paramount now where they killed the dude's son, um Pierce Brosnan's son. It what can you look up the show?
Yeah, I got you.
Um so Pierce Brosnan is like this gangster guy, is like a like a crime family, and
Mobland.
yes, Mobland. He kills his son, and they basically are like it's a shot across the bow. They 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 could have killed the one that they didn't really care about that much, but instead they killed the one that they actually cared about. That mattered to them. And that's what Penn State did. That's what Adidas did to Nike. They killed, like, the only person that you could have killed or got to more is Oregon. That's the only other way that you could have hurt them worse. You couldn't have hurt them worse with USC. You couldn't have hurt them worse with anybody. And mind you, the USC contract is getting renegotiated and all that stuff too. And Adidas is trying to steal USC too. This is a whole nother conversation. But yeah. So that's the situation. And so when you have heard the names Curt Cignetti and you've heard the name Matt Rhule involved in this, people are like, "Oh, he would never leave there." Indiana is a big time uh, Adidas property. Yeah, in basketball, are they good in football now? Yes. Indiana is and mind you, I mean this with all the respect in the world to Indiana. They have great fans and all of these things. Indiana football doesn't matter yet. They are not a significant driver of revenue at all. Indiana basketball is a whole different thing. Whole different thing. Like if we were talking about Penn State, if we were talking about Indiana basketball, and Indiana fans should be able to understand this. If we were talking about Indiana basketball, still in Penn State basketball's coach, what would we be talking about? But now we're talking about Penn State trying to steal Indiana's football coach. It's the exact same thing, except opposite. Indiana's just having a good run right now, and they're trying to level up as a program. And I've commended them. They're trying to do what Oregon has done.
And it's not robbing Peter to pay Paul to want Penn State to hire Curt Cignetti. It's all Paul to them.
Yes,
it's all Paul. Like so, and you and I actually had this conversation.
Indiana, they'll help backfill in Indiana, or they will try to help out one of their other brands that's more significant.
And you and I actually had this conversation last year. I don't know if you remember this. I called you and I was like, "Ooh, Adidas really wasn't ready for Arizona State and Indiana to make the college football playoff." Because I'm an Adidas guy. I wear Adidas. My family wears Adidas. You know that. Yep. And I called you and I was like, "Man, I got a friend who went to school in Bloomington, and I went to Arizona State, and I'm on the website trying to get apparel. Like they weren't ready. They didn't do anything special. They didn't really move or promote the merch all that much on the football end. There was no ultimate, like a school that they do promote is Washington. That is a school that, because I'm on Adidas website once a week looking at deals. My son's a Washington fan for who knows why, and I got a neighbor who's a big Indiana guy. I'm an Arizona State guy. I'm always on the website. Two of those teams made the college football playoff, and they just weren't ready. They didn't have anything. Couple of generic T-shirts. They really didn't move outside of their apparel plan. Who knows why Adidas has Arizona State. They had Indiana for basketball. Yeah. And maybe Adidas had it for Hurley, like they were betting on Bobby Hurley being maybe better than he was, but a lot of these are basketball investments, and the football got good on accident.
Where do you think, Ralph, that Indiana football ranks amongst Texas A&M, Miami, Washington, Texas Tech, Arizona State, Kansas, and I'm talking about in football, Nebraska, in Louisville, NC State, in college football?
Last. This was not it because you're not just factoring in last year, you're factoring in when they signed these contracts.
Ralph, I am on Adidas site. I typed in college football. Let me tell you, here's the exact order of the brands that are on their site, okay? Texas Tech, like in terms of, I typed in college football, so we can go to Texas Tech. There's
that was a basketball investment.
Washington, Miami, Georgia Tech, Arizona. I'm just going in order of the way that they showed up. Texas A&M, Washington again, Grambling, Texas Tech, because remember they are big in the Mahomes business. So Miami, Mississippi State, Arizona State, Texas Tech, NC State, Georgia Tech, Texas A&M, Nebraska, Kansas, Arizona State, Miami, Texas Tech, Nebraska, Miami, Texas Tech, Nebraska, Washington, Louisville, NC State, Mississippi State, Kansas, Arizona. Hold up. I'm at the end of the page. I haven't gotten to Indiana yet.
No, and I text you about this too, didn't I? Adidas has so many red teams.
Ralph, the next to there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. It is the fifth to last thing on Adidas site when you type in college football.
Mm-hmm.
It is on the second page at the bottom of the second page. So don't sit here and tell me, and this is not a knock on Indiana, because I love what they're doing. I love they're trying to come up. Like this is no knock on them, but this is no different than what Oregon went through. Like there's no difference. They are in the same boat right now. So it's not a knock on them. Oregon was them.
No, Indiana fans will tell you this, that Adidas isn't like that they got good in football and they didn't have like a plan to really promote it. And not only are you're in the team apparel business, you're also in the colorway business. So if you're on there like just in red and black and red and white apparel, uh, Indiana is prioritized behind the Louisvilles and the Texas Techs and all of these other schools that have that colorway. Nebraska, right?
Yep.
Red and white selling better for Nebraska than it is for Indiana, and so it's not promoted very well. And so and again, that's we're talking football. We're not talking basketball, which Adidas, I'm sure, treats Indiana very well. There's a precious investment for them on the basketball end. I'm sure of it. But I don't know. I'm an Adidas guy. We've had all these conversations. It's just not. We're talking to each other, defending a point that I don't think you need to defend. These are big time business investments, and these businesses want you to succeed so that you will sell more apparel so that they can get their investment back.
Mm, mm, mm. 100%, Ralph. 100%. So this is no knock against Indiana, but reality is reality. But there are some other aspects to it, which is timing, right? Curt Cignetti, like there's kind of two paths, right? So he would be my number one guy that if I could get him, okay? Because you're going to bring juice, you're going to bring energy. Like he's going to get out there, and Penn State is going to be talked about. Like Penn State is already one of the biggest brands in college football, but now you've thrown gasoline on them because this dude's a maniac, right? And I mean that in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So he would be my first hire, but the problem is I can't see, and then also I think that you have to factor in he was 61 when he got the Indiana job, so he felt passed over. People weren't, you know what I mean, for a long time, and now he's 64, and he's like, I'm trying to get to a championship. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else they got their turn. It's my turn now. They are, and he's got his boys with him. So and this isn't going to be a money play because he's making good money at Indiana. He's making $9 million. Coach's pool is really good. This ain't about money because if Penn State pays him 11, there's like you don't really jump around for a couple dollars at that point at that point in time. But this can be about can I win a national championship here? So there is two and I do believe, and I've talked about the world is changing all this stuff, but there are two paths, Ralph. One of them is what if Indiana wins the Big Ten and they don't play to the second round of the playoffs in January, in essentially January 1st?
Mm.
You can't announce him as your head coach. You cannot. So even if you have an agreement in principle, if Indiana goes to go win a national championship, can you count on that?
It would be outside the portal window too, right?
Yes. So can you count on that? To where you're like, oh yeah, our head coach is, like if he won a national championship, can you count on the fact that he's 100% going to still leave? No.
Right. That's tough. I mean,
And, and then the
you
other
never know
scenario,
what's in a dude's heart and head. If he wins a natty, why would he leave?
yeah, he's like, I can win here. I don't need to go nowhere else.
Yeah, you've taken away the one doubt. What you need is for in the Big Ten championship for Ryan Day to step on their neck
Yes,
and
for
for
him to
it
get
to get in
smoke
his
show.
head. Yeah, which is what happened to Brian Kelly, right?
Yep.
This happened to coaches all over the place. Like, I need better players because one thing about college coaches that we never seem to factor in all the way. And you watch how a college coach acts when they walk onto a campus full of players that got the last coach fired. You'll know exactly what college coaches are about. When you see a college coach walk onto a campus where the last coach got fired, they don't trust a single one of those players because you guys got the last coach fired. You're not going to get me fired. If I get fired, it's going to be by players I bring in.
Yeah. And you know what Curt Cignetti would do the first day when he gets announced at one of them basketball games? He gonna walk on the court. F Ohio State, F Alabama, F Oregon, F all of them. We gonna be better than them. How am I? Because that's what he did at Indiana. So if you don't think he gonna do it with a Penn State logo, but I believe that Penn State should hire one of two coaches. Brian Hartline, who is the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, his recruiting juice will translate, buddy, because he's the magic at Ohio State's wide receiver recruiting and at, just their recruiting in general. He is the magic, aside from the brand, of course. He's the magic. I would hire him, or which he can be named head coach and still coaching in the playoff, which is what Dan Lanning did at Georgia and then at taking the Oregon job. Or I would hire Fran Brown from Syracuse. Do you know how much juice either one of those dudes is going to be able to generate surrounding Penn State in press conferences? And like Fran Brown with a Penn State logo is going to sign a top 5 class every year, probably. But
Yeah.
But y'all want Matt Rhule, and y'all want Nick Saban to come out of retirement, and Urban Meyer, and stop living in the past.
Greg McElroy wants Pat Fitzgerald.
Pat Fitzgerald will do a great job of building a consistent, very good football team. Now, does
you know
Pat
what? You know what?
Fitzgerald have the
I love
juice to recruit a top 5 class every year? I don't know about that.
I love the idea of Penn State bringing somebody in who wasn't aware of what was going on in the locker room. That's not a joke. I'm genuinely laughing at the prospect of anyway, we can move.
That's fair.
So while we're recording, Michigan has solidified their stance against a $2.4 billion public investment in the Big Ten. So Michigan is on record. Michigan Regent Jordan Acker just said enough is enough. Make no mistake, in 5 years, we would regret this capital deal. George, I don't fully understand what this even is. Would you explain to me why the Big Ten is seeking out $2.4 billion and why Michigan and USC have come out against it?
Thank you, Michigan. Ohio State, you should be thanking Michigan right now because you were on board apparently with a dumb decision. USC, great job if you were fully against it as well. This is 100% lunacy. And the reason why, because this is private equity money essentially. And I know that part of it was going to be like the California firefighters or police department pension fund and all of this stuff. Private investment and private equity. You know we were getting ready to spit some truth because the lights just went out. But what was going to happen to the Big Ten on the back end of this, if you've covered college football for any amount of time, if you've been following college football apostles for any amount of time, this was going to cause the Big Ten to extend their media rights obligation, their grant of rights, for an additional minimum of 10 years. Ralph, who at some point in time signed a groundbreaking 12-year, $2 billion deal that was the greatest thing that ever was college football had ever seen. So much more money than anybody had ever seen, and is now defunct.
Would you be talking about the Conference of Champions?
Yes, the Pac-12. Ralph, we have seen this movie before. Extending your grant of rights for this $11 billion up front. That $2 billion will be chump change in 12 years. That will be pennies on the dollar. The whole thing with these media rights deals is to keep them long but short at the same time. Intermediate deals, so you can keep getting back to the table. Only in baseball do guys sign deals 10, 12 years, but they do it when they're 30 because they know they're getting over. Like they're dollar cost averaging it. In this, the Big Ten is still in its prime. It's always in its prime. Ask the ACC how good that deal that was so magical to them that's keeping them in their grant of rights till 2035 or 2036 feels right now. It
True.
feels good because they've held Florida State and Clemson hostage, but it don't feel real good because you couldn't get back to the table. And now your schools are operating at a significant disadvantage. So, Ralph, I didn't tell you what my stance on it, why I was so far against it prior to the show, but now that I've laid this out for you, what are your thoughts?
Well, if you're comparing it to the Pac-12, then you know how I'm going to feel. That was the worst. The conference I loved is now dead and gone, and so you have always been an advocate for shorter deals and more opportunities to renegotiate, and so I'm again financially ignorant at times. I'm gonna go with you on this one. I don't really care. The Big Ten is the haves. They're out here like to be in a position where you turn 2.4 billion down over 18 teams or whatever. That sounds nice. I'm trying to see what that'd be like.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Michigan's statement was like, yeah, this is essentially, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, all this money is cool and all, but it doesn't address costs. Like we're spending too much. We got to figure
Mm.
that out. And like, yeah, all this money sounds cool and all, but it don't address the real problems. Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, we got some breaking news, George.
Yes. While we were when the lights went out, we learned that Indiana will not be losing their head coach Curt Cignetti. He ain't going nowhere. He will be at Indiana. The man just leveraged this thing into a new deal that is going to pay him $11.6 million per year. And you know what? He going home and he gonna look his wife in the face and be like, so what were you saying, baby? Because and by that I mean because he was at Alabama. He wanted to take that job at what was it? IUP? A
IUPUI or whatever.
yeah, it was a Division II job. He takes the job, takes a significant pay cut, a step back because he's at Alabama, recruiting coordinator and everything else, and takes a huge step back. And she wasn't on board at first. She was like, "Yo, you're making a lot of money, everything's well. Like, don't do this at first." She finally reluctantly signs off on it, and now, and now, the man is gonna be 100 million up before you can blink. Before you can blink, he 100 million up.
Not bad to get that at 64.
Mm-mm.
That is the gamble paying off, and I know
Yeah,
that's the same age of Kyle Whittingham who's getting ready to
yeah,
retire right now. Curt
yeah.
Cignetti just getting started. So that the statement from their athletic director
I know
is
what it
as
was.
such.
I know what it is.
Nana
You know
boo
what his
boo.
AD said?
We'll
He's
go
not
for it.
fucking
What he
leaving.
say?
He's not fucking leaving.
He
He's not
said,
fucking leaving. He's not fucking leaving. That's what the statement said.
direct your complaints to I'm mad at unafraidshow.com. At Indiana University, we are committed to performing at the highest levels in everything we do, and no one has exemplified that more than Coach Cignetti. Put simply, Sig is a winner. From last year's college football playoff appearance to this year's top 3 national ranking, the IU football program's success has been tremendous. Curt and Manette Cignetti are home in Indiana, and we are delighted that the Cignetti family will be Hoosiers for many years to come. George, what do you think $11.6 million a year could buy in Bloomington?
Bloomington, quarter of
Oh,
Bloomington, and after about 5 years, most of Bloomington.
I'm thinking about. I told you, University of Indiana is one of the, Indiana University is one of the best music schools in the country. Now I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh, let me go send my son there, get him on playing guitar, and maybe he can provide some acoustic entertainment
Yeah, and
for
then
Curt Cignetti.
get off that dumb Washington idea. But but yeah, man, I'm happy for Curt Cignetti. His third contract in 2 years, which is wild. But he was making 9 million already. I don't believe that this deal, that him leaving Indiana or not, was ever going to be about money. I don't. I think it was always going to be about, and like, yes, the school did clearly get held hostage here, but actually, I don't even think they got held hostage. They were like, hey Curt, do you want to raise? And they were like, he was like, sure, yes, and they were
Do
like,
you,
are
for
you
the
good with
Penn State and Indiana
11.6? And he was
people,
like, I don't even think they negotiated. They were like, are you cool with 11.6? He was like, yeah. How much for my assistants? 12.8. Yeah, cool. That works. All right, cool. Let's go back to practice. Like, I think that this was probably the easiest negotiation of all time.
negotiating against nobody.
Yes.
So
I believe it
you
was
don't
always going to be about whether he could get to if he believed he could get to the playoff, win a national championship in Indiana, and if he was going to be willing to leave to go to Penn State before the season was over with.
you don't do this though. You don't, unless it was a risk that somebody could come and pay him more.
Yeah, of course somebody could try to pay him more, but I don't believe that it was ever going to come down to money.
Yeah, and I appreciate Indiana taking care of him for sure, but I'm saying you don't do it unless you're a little scared.
For sure, for sure. Hold on, let me listen to what Indiana just released from Curt Cignetti.
Are we cutting this part? Or are we just giving everybody a moment of silence?
No, 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 no. Okay, I'm listening to what he's saying about it. He's proud to be a Hoosier. His wife loves it there. He loves the school. Oh, see, I appreciate this. He's like the way that they've embraced us and loved us. Oh, yeah. He just said, I'm gonna work daily, work hard, and I appreciate y'all and everything else. That's it. It was good stuff.
Well, speaking of coach statements, I want to get into our Wrighster or wrong segment. I'm going to read you some coach statements, and you tell me if they are Wrighster or wrong. And these are about the rumors that are flying around. Not everybody has spoken on it, but enough people have. So let's start out with your boy Dan Lanning. Quote: I've been very clear and adamant that I'm not going anywhere. A lot of coaches use that as an opportunity to say, okay, I'm either going to get a big raise where I'm at, or maybe they really want that other job. I don't want any other jobs. I've got the job I want.
That's
Wrighster,
100%.
wrong way to handle this.
That is the Wrighster way to handle it. That is the 100% Wrighster. That it is emphatic. There's no double talk. It is, if you do the opposite, you are a liar. You are a fraudster. You are a liar. That is like, that's not even painting yourself into a corner. That is locking yourself into a box. And I mean, like you didn't get painted in the corner. You painted the corner and you stood over there. Like you painted yourself and called it a corner.
Okay, next up, Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. There's no such thing as journalistic integrity on social media. There's just wild, outlandish reporting. He's talking about himself and his assistant, Kirby Moore. Kirby Moore never interviewed. He didn't talk to anybody at Arkansas. It was all a bunch of bullcrap. But I want to focus on that section. There's no such thing as journalistic integrity on social media. Wrighster or wrong way?
Wait, he was asked about the Indiana job? I'm sorry, about the Penn State job?
No. He's been linked to Florida, to to an Auburn, which are not open yet,
Yeah.
um, and Arkansas, but Arkansas more so for his assistant Kirby Moore. So he's saying there's no such thing as journalistic integrity on social media. There's just wild, outlandish reporting. Kirby Moore never interviewed. He didn't talk to anybody at Arkansas. It's all a bunch of crap. So he's speaking about him being linked to jobs and his assistant being linked to jobs.
Um, I'm gonna say that is Wrighster for right now because Florida's not open and neither is Auburn. so once those become open, yes, the Eli Drinkwitz will get calls, and people have wondered if he would go to Penn State. I don't believe that Penn State is the spot for him. People have asked me about Will Stein at Penn State. I was like, I don't think that Penn State is going to. I don't. Even if Will Stein did do a good job at Penn State, I think that he would leave if Texas A&M or Texas or Oklahoma became open and they offered him, because that's his region. That's where his fam is. All that stuff. Not that he, not that Penn State's not a special place, but it's like Mario Cristobal at Oregon. I don't think he would have left for anywhere except for maybe Alabama and Miami. 100% sure.
So I'll step in and say
And
hashtag
he
not
would
all
have left
journalists.
Alabama for Miami.
Yeah, but I do want to say hashtag not all journalists because we're painting everybody with the
Yeah,
same broad
yeah,
brush
of
there,
course.
Eli. Matt Rhule, quote, "This is not a jumping off job. This is a destination job. This is one of the greatest places in the world. I refuse to be distracted." That is Matt Rhule talking to Pat McAfee.
100% wrong. Wrong. You know what Matt Rhule said? That like, because that wasn't even the whole quote. He was just like, listen, this place should be a beast and all of this. You know what he didn't say? He didn't say, no, I'm not leaving. He either wants a raise or he wants the Penn State job. One of the two. There's a reason why he's saying no. And there's a reason why his quarterback, Dylan Raiola, is out here. He ain't going nowhere. If he ain't going nowhere, then why not say it, Matt Rhule? Say the words.
All
And,
right,
and,
so I
and
got a
don't
couple.
say the words 2 weeks from now, right before they announce who the head coaching job is going to. No, say it. Say it now if you mean it.
All right, Alex Golesh, quote, this is at USF, quote, "I've never in my career outside of here chased a job, ever. And I don't intend to. I can promise you, I'm not talking to anybody. Some people will call BS on it, and that's fine." Right or wrong, Alex Golesh's response to the coaching carousel.
100% Wrighster. I do not, because I give every single G5 coach a pass. 100%. You can BS your way through this whole thing. I don't, because there's a big difference in making 1.5 a year and making $8 million a year and being at a Power 4 school. I am not. Listen, Alex Golesh, you are 100% Wrighster, buddy. I know USF is a really good job and all those things, and he might be making closer, 2.5 maybe, but not too much more than that if so. And he doesn't know whether he's a candidate or not. Like, he may not be the top guy that they're gonna look at some of these schools. And granted, just because you're not the top guy doesn't mean that you're not the right guy. So I listen. He could say anything. He'd be like, "Listen, I'm not leaving USF," and then he leaves. I wouldn't even fault him. He's trying to keep his season together. They are ranked now. They might go to the college football playoff. He might not get one of these jobs or want the one that's offered to him. And he might be like, I'm gonna stay over here. So he's got to keep his group together. He's got to keep his team together, and he's got to keep people foolishly believing that that he's not leaving, that he's willing to stay there and turn down other jobs and turn that into a powerhouse.
The last one I got for you is a long one, and he took some criticism for it. And I'll read you his quote that he took criticism for, and then his follow-up quote. This is Fran Brown at Syracuse. I'm working at Syracuse right now, so I really don't need to talk about that. If this wasn't where I wanted to be in the moment, would I be standing here at this moment? Yeah, so I'm just focused on that. I'm focused on being here. I'm locked in on coaching the players that I have here. This is where I work at. I think that it's disrespectful to even bring up and ask that. Like, what is the point in asking that? To make some media of me saying something opposite? They hired me to come here and do a job and coach this team, and that's what I'm doing. His follow up was on his own podcast. He said, "How are you telling me my job isn't a big time job?" Is Fran Brown Wrighster wrong for this response?
He's 100% Wrighster because he's probably gonna be Penn State's new head coach. that that if I had my doing, dude, that sounds exactly like Willie Taggart at Oregon. When they asked him, "Yo, are you gonna take the Florida State job, or are you committed to being at Oregon?" Why would I not be?
Willie Taggart did the ultimate, like when people say be where your feet are. I mean, he technically was
Yeah, he was
in
like,
Tyler Shuck's backyard trying to recruit him to Oregon on the phone,
yes, with Florida
ordering a
State.
private jet to Tallahassee.
Yes. Hey, um, so this reminds me of something that my that Denisha, who if you don't know is my wife, she would always, like hit the obligatory. Do you really love me? Do you love me? I mean, like, and my response would be a lot of times, I'm here, aren't I? That would be my response, and then I figured out that wasn't a good response.
I guess
So
not.
I was like, I'm here, aren't I? And my point, so I would say, I'm here, aren't I? I'm never anywhere I don't want to be. And then I
Mm.
thought about it. I do go places I don't want to be sometimes because I have to be. So and I'm like, and so that hit me, and I was like, no, babe, I do love you. I choose, and then I rephrased it because I was like, I want to be here. I choose to be here every single day because this is where I want to be. Like, I love you because I choose to love you every single day. And I don't want to be anywhere else. Otherwise I would be. And I don't want to be but I say it in a way that now is like, you know, it, Dan Lanning style instead
Yeah.
of Matt.
Have you tried yes? Have you tried the word yes? All right. Before we get you in any more trouble, what are we looking forward to this weekend?
He said, "Have you tried the word yes?" Um, that, that would be a lot more simple, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm looking forward to how Matt Rhule's team plays against Minnesota, how Nebraska plays against Minnesota on Friday. If they lay down and Minnesota beats Nebraska, oh, you might be looking at your new Penn State head coach because as soon as the team's play starts being impacted, you know what's up. I'm interested in this Vanderbilt LSU game. I think Vanderbilt, who's favored over. When is the last time that Vanderbilt was favored over LSU?
Never.
Maybe never. Do they have not been favored over an SEC opponent in any book since 2018? And some people are reporting since like the 70s. So, so I'm interested in that game. I am. Oh my God, I don't even want to know what Indiana's going to do to Michigan State now that Curt Cignetti has re-upped. Um, I want to see Texas Tech versus Arizona State. how that turns out. But the thing I'm looking forward to the most is the outcome of this USC Notre Dame game. My eyes
What
are
do you think it means for either side?
USC. It's validation. We are we are back. We are physical. We are all of these things. For Notre Dame, I think it's just like, yeah, no, we're going to the college football playoff. And so I think that this game means way more to USC than it does Notre Dame because Notre Dame was in the college football playoff last year. They were in the national championship. They know who they
Mm-hmm.
are. They
Yeah,
believe who they are. USC is still questioning. Their fans are still questioning because they were questioning after the Illinois game on their message board. So you can't tell me that the team ain't, that Lincoln ain't. This game means more for USC than it does for Notre Dame.
that makes sense. I am looking forward to a rematch of college football playoff or of the ACC championship. Two teams that made the college football playoff that nobody's talking about at all, SMU and Clemson. I think this is a pretty important game. I know Rhett Lashley's been linked to some jobs, and I know that Dabo Swinney's going through it. The winner of this game, um, yeah, I think 5-2 for SMU means we still have a shot. I think that 3-4 for Clemson is a pretty hard reset potentially. So
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
that's a really really important one. And then the other thing that I'm really looking forward to is earlier this year, Johnny Manziel was on I think maybe his own show talking, and he said there's nobody really like him this year, like no real like flashy exciting guy. um, Trinidad Chambliss has opportunity. He
Yes.
was he kind of plays like Johnny Manziel. And if you look at just I know he's older than Johnny Manziel was, but certainly not in experience, right? He had 1 year as a starter at Ferris State. He was even sharing time a little bit. Last year at this time, he was playing in front of 4,000 people
Yes.
against
Yeah. And
Michigan
now he's
Tech.
playing in front of everybody.
Yeah, and he's going to be at Georgia. So you think about it, what was the Manziel moment? And the Manziel moment that really kicked off, Johnny Football Mania was going to Alabama when they were 9-0 and winning. And I think that winning in Georgia, at Georgia, playing the type of football that he's been playing with College Game Day there could be the Manziel moment for Trinidad Chambliss. Now he could fail that test, and we could be talking about Georgia being 6-1 and on their way to the college football playoff. Sure, I don't think it's going to hurt Ole Miss all that much. But right now, Ole Miss has the opportunity to go 7-0 for the second time under Lane Kiffin. Last time the wheels fell off, but they have a chance to do it at Georgia with a backup quarterback who came out of nowhere. He's one of the best stories in all of college football, and he actually is exciting. He does throw on the run. He is everything you want to see in a college football player, and he's got an awesome opportunity in Athens this weekend.
Yep. Well, we're excited. You guys make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend. Peace out. Catch you guys later.